I could see that I'm starting to slowly switch off. Switch off firstly emotionally, becoming numb, and then just going and waking up every day to show up. But was there any purpose in it? Am I moving forward? Am I making a name for myself? What's really going on here?
I'm Gerald Mariemuthoo. I'm the founder of You Have Purpose, a mental health organization focusing on preventing suicide and promoting mental health awareness. We want to speak about men's mental health because for so many years, society has told men how to behave. Don't cry, don't complain, be stoic, don't show your emotions. But how often do we ask them, are you okay? What are you going through? And that is why You Have Purpose exists. Because we want to open up that conversation. We want to break the stigma and create a safe space for men to say, I'm not okay. So to do that, we have our guest Gerald with us.
Thanks, and I want to say firstly, thanks for this platform, for creating a platform like this for men to just open up and talk, but also for stories to encourage others to know that it's okay to speak to someone, it's okay to open up, and it's also okay to let go of that weight and burden that you're holding every day. So I think that resonated with me, and we've had discussions about creating a space to talk, or for men to talk about what they're going through. And I think that's how we found ourselves here today, having this conversation. Yeah.
Love
Yeah, my story begins way back in 2010.
Okay.
Finished high school, joined the South African Police Service, went into different training modes, different training sessions. But ultimately, over the years, a lot of people look at the uniform as the symbol of courage, symbol of strength, symbol of protection. And I think when you don that badge or that uniform, a lot of people see you as this person that has everything together. But nobody ever questions who's taking care of that man or woman in that uniform. What are they going through on a daily basis? Because you'll find that across different shifts or different times when you are going to operational duties and whatever, when you knock off, the trauma doesn't knock off. The trauma comes home with you. And a lot of people think that trauma is just one moment that defines everything. But it's an accumulation of different moments, different experiences that end up leading to a point where you cannot deal with this anymore. And I think a lot of the times is that when you see trauma, you think that, okay, you know what, I need to still show up for everyone. I still need to show up for myself, and I still need to be this person that people see me to be. But when does the point come where you have to switch off, where you have to unwind and also relax? And you'll find that a lot of the times you take these things home with you, but it leads up into other social problems. I know a lot of people that I used to work with or have known in the law enforcement space, let me call it that, because it's not limited to just one organization, right? It's a common thread. People turn to substance abuse. People turn to GBV. People turn to alcohol. And sometimes people end up to the point where they can't take it themselves anymore, and it leads to suicide, right? So I think the situation currently is that men feel afraid to talk because it's a weakness. And also I think this thing is born out of cultural aspects and stereotypes, if I can call it that way, because we might be talking today about men's mental health, but these things start from a point of growing up, right? Boys are always seen to be a male figure. You can't cry, get up. So those are seen as weakness. So you're conditioned over time. Till you come into an adult life or teenage life, and like you'll see in school, I mean, how are bullies born out of? It's born out of these things, right? You end up in your adult life, and then in the workplace, men are seen to be playing dominant roles. Men are seen to be providers, protectors, And so this culture is born that
Yeah.
men have to always be on this pedestal,
Yeah.
but nobody asks that man, okay, but what are you going through? What led to this point? I think I applied for the police. So throughout my teenage life, I used to always see my dad as a role model. So my dad was in the police service. So policing culture has always been part of my family. And I remember as a young boy, my dad would come fetch me with the police car, wearing the uniform. Your
Yes.
friends are looking at you.
Proud moment.
Yeah, look, so people knew that, hey, I was that guy.
Yes.
But I think also there was times where I used to go to work with my dad when he used to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I just took a liking to this. And I told myself that, one day I want to be that guy. I want to don that uniform. But more so, I want to make a difference because I've always seen my parents as people who have been in service of others. So my dad was a police officer, my mom was a nurse. And combined, okay, my dad was in the police for 40 years. My mom was a nurse for about 41 years per se.
Wow.
But always being in service of others, right? So I thought that's the trajectory I want to go. But obviously the guns, the uniform, the sirens, the blue lights are the more exciting part. And so, yeah, I enlisted in the South African Police Service, done my basic training,
Nice.
and yeah, deployed. So, you always say, we always talk about the uniform, but there's also other sides to the police where you don't necessarily wear uniform, but you're still performing functions of a police officer. And I was in the intelligence environment.
Okay.
So doing a lot of things that undercover, doing things that a lot of sensitivity, classified, and I'm sure you're starting to see the trend that the more I talk about it, the more you can see that I have no one to talk to about these things because of the sensitivity and
Correct.
gravity of these investigations or the type of work that we
Yeah.
were doing.
And doing it while still young as well, right?
Yeah, so fresh-minded, you come into an organization, but there's already a trend and a culture
Yeah.
that you either conform to or you make your own trajectory out of it, right?
Okay.
And I guess a lot of the time we had to conform to it because then you're not seen as one of the boys or in the boys' club or the men's club per se. I'll give you just a small example. Like a lot of people tell you, hey, what are you going to study? We've been here for 30, 40 years. What do you think studying is going to take you to another direction? You found yourself here, make the most of it, and life goes on. And so, yeah, I worked on various investigations, traversed the country, worked on a lot of sensitive issues.
Yeah.
But in all of that, I could see that I'm starting to slowly switch off. Switch off firstly emotionally,
Sure.
becoming numb, and then just going and waking up every day to show up. But was there any purpose in it? Am I moving forward? Am I making a name for myself? What's really going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, if we talk about relationships, if we talk about social circles, I started switching off, becoming that cold person. Call me, won't take your calls. Inviting me to functions, or even maybe not inviting me to functions, but telling me, hey, why don't you come pass? And then I start seeing it in a different way. Like, you have all those people there, you could have sent me an invitation, why not? But it's just the simple things, right? But they build up.
Yeah.
They build up. But why? Because it's the frustration that you're not dealing with. You come home, someone says something, you snap. Perhaps maybe you're out with friends, maybe indulging in some beverages and so forth, and then you start talking, but now you realize, hey, but maybe I'm not supposed to talk about this. Maybe tomorrow someone's going to judge me. Or maybe someone's going to use that against me in a fight or an argument. So you become very guarded. You're always on alert.
Yeah.
You're not switching off. And yeah, I can tell you that pretending to be okay is the most tiring part.
Sure.
Because you always have to smile. You have to always laugh. You have to always be this person that people see you as. But at the end of the day, when all that's said and done, you have to still deal with yourself at the end
Exactly.
of the day. And I think I faced a lot of dangers over my life, but the biggest danger was facing myself.
Sure.
Yeah.
So before you went into that space of feeling numb and disconnected, what did you feel when you were first experiencing the sensitive information? How did you handle that?
Yeah, so look, I mean, nobody plans for that or prepares you for that. I mean, you
Yeah.
go through training in a controlled environment. What you learn from textbooks is theoretical. When you're in the streets, it's different.
Yeah.
Things are coming at different angles. You're placed in positions where bullets are flying. You need to, it's either do or
Sure.
die, right? So, yeah, I would say the first few moments or circumstances that took place, you go into an adrenaline rush, but you also you feel like you're in a utopia because like, is this really what I'm joined to up? Or is this what
Yes.
really the police is about or law enforcement as a whole?
Mm.
And as time goes on, you learn to condition yourself.
Okay.
So you'll find that a lot of the times when, so I won't go in too much details into the training, but policing training ultimately is that they break down the person who comes through the door and build you up to the person they want you to be when they send you back out in the street.
Wow. That's interesting.
So you come there having this nice life, having this nice food, wearing your name brands and
Yes.
talking to your family or friends however you want to. But you come here and you get conditioned. But the conditioning is for two purposes, right? Firstly, they want to mold you into the person they want you to be, or this idea of what a police officer should be. And then they send you out into the world because perhaps maybe you're faced with uh, an altercation or confrontation. You can't just take out your gun and shoot the person. You can't just get into a combat mode. You must be able to willing to take pressure
Yeah.
to a certain tolerance level before you start applying pressure
Sure.
or confronting the situation that you're challenged with.
And you only get taught that once you're in that situation.
And yes, it's a survival of the fittest, right? Because, like I said, you've been trained in controlled environments, but now you're placed there out into the lion's den, if you can call it,
Yeah.
and you have to deal with those daily issues.
Yeah. Did you ever call your dad and ask him how did he deal with it? Did you ever ask him for advice?
Complex question, but look, for me, I felt that my dad was at a senior level, and you know, I wouldn't say they discouraged me from joining the police, but they always told me that for them back in the days, those were the only options. You know, people
Okay.
always tell you, you either be a nurse, you either be a doctor, you either be a lawyer, you either be a police officer, you either be a teacher.
Yeah.
And so for them, that was the opportunities, right? And obviously, when they then joined the working world and got into married life and had kids and whatever, they didn't want that for us. But because of how nice you made it seem,
Yeah.
we wanted to be at the forefront of this.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I joined the police, I thought, hey, I don't want to disappoint my parents. So let me not talk about these weaknesses. I'll deal with it. I formed camaraderie amongst police. You'll always hear people talk about policing culture. Nobody will understand policing culture unless you were part of it or in it. And yeah, you get, I won't say sucked into it, because there's a lot of police officers and law enforcement officials that deal with what they're dealing with, but they also seek the help and
Yeah.
they come out of it healthier.
Okay.
And they manage it in a healthy way. Whereas the others now, it's just going on to the next. I
Yeah.
mean, you have cultures of on a Friday going for a braai and drinking with each other because only we understand each other.
Yes.
Nobody wouldn't understand out of the circle,
Yes.
And so that becomes the norm. Yeah.
And did you find your support structure was that culture? Would you look forward to going on a Friday because then you could just debrief, exhale, and just be yourself?
Yeah, look, the debriefing, let me start off by saying that after operations or serious traumatic events or serious moments, there is that option of debriefing, right?
Okay.
And before I answer your question, I just want to explain this so that you have the foundation of it, right? And so you have a moment where you can be debriefed and go through it. They call it employee health and wellness,
Okay.
right? Okay, this is like post 2016, 2017, because prior to that, there wasn't these things or tools. You'd have psychologists and stuff like that, but those things get recorded in your files. So when it comes for promotion time and all of that, they count against you, right?
Wow.
And so that culture and mindset had to shift first. And so people ended up dealing with it on their own, right? And yeah, to answer your question, did these guys become, or even women, I mean, because women were part of our teams, right? Did they become my support structure? Did I look forward to spending time with them?
Yeah.
I think the answer would be yes, but to an extent, because when we met up, we talk about the investigation or the operation or the thing, but nobody's talking about, hey, you know what, guys, I'm having this problem at home. My wife wants to leave me, or my husband wants to leave me, or my kid doesn't want to talk to me anymore, or I'm very hostile towards people around me. Those conversations never took place.
Okay.
It was about showing up for the people there, and you have your camaraderie, the braai, and all of that. And so it comes to the point of, and I think that's the type of question that you want to ask me, is that did I ever have someone to lean on to and talk to
Yeah.
to get out of this? And the answer is no. Support was available, but me taking that support, I'm thinking about all these other things now that I told you about. It's going to count against me. I'm going to be an outcast from my camaraderie. People are going to see it as a weakness. All of those things, you know.
Yes.
And once people start seeing you going for help or being admitted, it creates a perception to say these people aren't cut out for it. You know, they always say there's 3 types of people that join law enforcement. People who really love the job or are born to be police officers. People that have no other option but to join for employment purposes.
Yeah.
And then people who join for nefarious reasons, right? And so whichever path you find yourself in when you join, mental health will still be there to follow you.
100%. How did you get yourself to a space where you can finally say, I'm not okay, I'm not dealing with this? What event happened for you to say, this is not me, I need to get out?
So look, I saw over time that all these things that I faced, tragedies, violence, death, all of those things, started accumulating. But I started seeing myself taking it out in my personal space.
Sure.
It's cost me relationships, it's cost me friendships. And that's when I started to sing, like, you joined the police to do one thing, but in your person, yes, you're this big hero to other people, but at home, who are you really? Are you showing up for the people that supported you to get into this journey that you are in now? And so for me, I started seeing the damage it was doing in my personal life.
Sure.
I started seeing that the burden became heavier. Burden became heavier in the sense that I didn't feel comfortable enough to talk about what I was going through.
Okay.
But it's twofold, because firstly, I couldn't talk about the work
Yeah.
itself. But secondly, I couldn't also now talk about how it was affecting me, because I would be seen as weak, and you don't want that negative attention around you.
Yeah.
And so I decided, you know what, I joined the police. I might as well make the most out of this journey. I was doing courses, I was studying, and so forth, because I knew policing is not going to be forever. Because I think, as we spoke about earlier, I wanted to break that cycle, right? And who's going to break the cycle? Nobody's going to do it for you.
Preach.
You have to take the action.
Yeah.